Hello, everybody. Yep, we're all here. Long time no see. Thank you for joining me again for another new term of live Q&A sessions. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you've had a happy and healthy summer. The last 6 months have been really tough, and obviously things are still very uncertain, but I hope that if you now have children turn to school like me, you're enjoying a little more peace during the day at the very least. As always, tonight's event should be streaming live to Facebook. And whether you're watching there or on Zoom, it would be great if you could just let me know that you can hear me okay with a raised hand or a yes or a comment, something like that. That would be awesome. If you're watching on Facebook, again, if you could just do a quick share that we're live, that would be lovely. Thank you. There's a bit of a lag on Facebook, so just gonna give it a little bit more time just to see if I can get any comments. All okay? I think we're all up and running. Okay, so in case we haven't met, my name is Jean and I coordinate the marketing here at John Packer. Like many of us, I've had to learn some new skills in putting together these webinars. However, in so doing, I've had the good fortune to speak to lots of fantastic musicians, so it's all been worth it. I'm indebted tonight to Stephen Wick at Denis Wick Products, who kindly put me in touch with Arnetta Johnson in America. And I'm so glad he did, as I can't get enough of her music. As someone who quite liked listening to hip hop and funk in my younger years, but didn't think I liked jazz so much, her fusion of hip hop and jazz has been a revelation. I love the riffs, the rhythm, the production. I love the joy and the storytelling in all her videos. She's the complete package, and I'm thrilled she's chatting with us tonight. As ever, I've got lots of questions, but do feel free to send any more through the comment fields on Zoom or on Facebook. So without further ado, please let me present Arnetta.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for joining us. So whereabouts are you at the moment, Arnetta?
I am in Camden, New Jersey. We have reached the fall season, my favorite season. So yes, that's where I'm located in the world. So yeah, it's good to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, it's always a wonder of technology that we managed to make it work. Those who joined us last time will know that I had a few sort of technical issues, a few nows, but I've bought a special thing today from Curry's, and it should hopefully mean my Wi-Fi is really good. Anyway, we're going to start tonight with Arnetta playing just a little sort of jamming session on her own. So just to set the sort of the tone for the night, and so you get to know kind of what she sounds like.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little jam, y'all. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. It really,
Yes.
it's so mellow. Yeah, it's nice. Just gets you relaxed. So I need to relax, and it definitely does it for me. Brilliant. So tell me, do you come from a musical family? Is this music in all through yours?
So for the most part, yeah. Like, my mother is a retired music teacher. She taught general music, literally ever since I was born. Uh, she just retired last year. But my family as a whole, we come from the church. So in church, everybody sang or played an instrument
Yeah.
of some sort. I grew up singing in the church choir. It wasn't my favorite thing to do, but it did help my ear. But my mother never forced us to be musicians. My brother just ended up playing drums and producing a bit, and I just happened to start playing trumpet. And of course, given that she's a music teacher,
Yeah, great. Why not?
she was just like, "All right,"
So
but
could she play the trumpet as well then? Did she help teach you the trumpet?
she no, my mom did not at all. My mom played piano and sang, so she stayed in her lane and did that, and she just put us in music programs and just was like, all right, y'all go to band practice. And that she wasn't pressuring us to practice all day. She wasn't that type of parent at all. Like, we just had the natural urge to practice. It was probably because she would do that herself. Like, she'll always be downstairs working on songs for the school at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Gosh, that's a lot.
so
Yeah.
we'll- so we'll be laying in bed, and all you hear is a piano being played downstairs. It's like, man. So,
Because I suppose the educational system is quite different in America. Most students do play an instrument. Is it?
so it depends on the school. Some, most schools have, general music class. Other schools, they have it so that it's an elective to where you could sign up for band and participate. So yeah, it depends on the program you have. At my school, my mother was my music teacher when I was in middle school. So, I wasn't a musician at the time yet. So I was just in the class, just like, all right, I'm gonna learn about these quarter notes and these eighth notes. But my in eighth grade is when I started playing, and that's when, I became more involved with different music programs around the city of Camden. So
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much how I really got into it.
Was it at all like awkward having your mum as your teacher? Was,
Uh, Sometimes, I guess only when I would get in trouble, only because they didn't have to, like, if they were to call her, it would take her 5 seconds to get to her.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
But
I won't ask you more. Oh, no.
but yeah, but I mean, other than that, I mean, I guess it was a little weird in terms of, I guess, popularity, in terms, because it was just like everybody just knew who we were, because, well, it was myself, my brother, and my sister. We were all in school at the same time, under my mom. And yeah, so it was like, instead of, like, once I came in, it's just like, that's Miss Johnson's daughter. Like, you're the music teacher's daughter. It's like everybody knows who you are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man. So it's like every move is being watched. In that aspect, it was a little weird. But it wasn't too rough being a musician at the school, because I started so late. People
Yeah,
didn't
so
have
13 is quite,
expectations.
yeah, because you were 13 when you started. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is quite late. But obviously you developed really, really quick. I need to ask though, why was it specifically the trumpet?
Because my school didn't have a violin. I wanted to play violin. They just didn't have any. So, and then when I went on to wanted to play like the rhythm section instruments,
Hmm.
they said those positions were filled. So they were like, "You're gonna have to play a horn." And I was like, "All right." So I was like, "Saxophone has too many buttons. Trombone didn't have enough buttons." And I said, "Trumpet has three, so that gotta be the easy one."
Yeah.
That was not true. Come to find out, trumpet was not the easiest one. If you ask me, it probably was the hardest one. But that's how I got started, and then that's how I got on trumpet. And then from there, I met with three music teachers throughout the city named Jamal Dickerson, Nasir Dickerson, and Hassan Sabri, and they had created a system throughout the school district that would help develop students' musical, endeavors and careers. So at the end of middle school, I was in a group called the Little Jazz Giants in Camden. And then from there, I moved on straight to the high school program. And I was in a jazz band and a marching band. And then from there, they were just preparing us for college. And that's how I went on to Berkeley. So, yeah, I mean, it all.
So your teachers, were they hugely influential to you?
Very, 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 very. Essentially it became like a family. I'll the best way to explain it is like how you look at sports teams. When you're playing a sport in high school, you literally become a family. You're always with each other at lunch, after school, for practice. And that's how it was. Yeah, during school we have class. After school we go right into rehearsal.
Yeah.
For the rest of the evening and
You're
for
spending more time with them, I suppose, as well,
yeah.
potentially, than family.
Oh no, way more than family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was way with them way more. 'Cause most kids go to after school programs.
Yeah.
But no, I was in band rehearsal all day. And it became like a safe haven
Yeah.
for a lot of us because instead of being outside running in the streets, we were inside practicing instruments and
Yeah,
being creative. So
yeah, I gather because where you are in America is not like the safest place, perhaps.
no, it could be a little testy out in the streets, and then idle minds. We're kids, we're gonna
Yeah.
find something to get into. Even no matter where you are as a kid, you could be in the suburb. You're gonna find something to get
Yeah.
into no matter
Yeah.
what. So it was just good for us, to stay on the right track and to be creative, and
Yeah.
to just use all that energy we had at the time. So it worked out well. It worked out
Yeah,
very well.
I think they could do with a few more after-school clubs at my kids' school because they're still coming from home with too much energy and they need to burn it off somewhere. And like, surely they could stay at school until at least 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
They've definitely got too much. So when you started studying music, at Berkeley, was there any pressure to learn any other instruments? Do you play any other instruments beyond trumpet?
There wasn't any pressure to play any other instruments, but of course, being creatives, we all have fun just doodling on other instruments.
You tried
So
the
it's like,
trombone.
yeah, we'll play a trombone every now and then. So it's like, and then of course we all like learn the basics on every instrument. But just from doodling around, I do know like the basic positions on trombone and the key, a little bit of saxophone.
Yeah.
Saxophone got a lot of buttons, so I really don't. I just know the bottom three are very similar to trumpet. That's about the best I can do. But I could definitely play some piano, some bass, and I could hold a beat on drums. So
I suppose a little bit of knowledge probably helps when you're doing your arranging as well.
yes, yeah. when I arrange horns, when I'm even notating or working on horn arrangements, I never use my trumpet. Surprisingly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually don't even use a keyboard. I just sit on my laptop and just arrange.
Yes.
I just hear it right in my head.
But I suppose that theoretical knowledge, that knowledge that you got from your mum, with her sort of helping teach you, must have really, really helped.
Here's the crazy part about that. So I only had my mom up until 8th grade. So when I started in the 8th grade, it was kind of too late. I was that kid. I really wasn't paying attention in my mom's class because I didn't care about music. I was just doing what I needed to do to get through the class, and I failed my own mother's class. So
did she help you now in any way musically?
Yeah. I mean, she in terms of support, because that's very important.
Sure, yeah,
she's always at my shows and stuff. But in terms of like needing things, like if I need like a software program for some type of music, she'll help me with that.
Yeah.
Gear, like if I need to set up some sound in a certain way, she has like different sound systems that I could use and stuff. So yeah, in terms of stuff like that, I don't really ask my mom too many musical questions. I wonder, yeah, because it's like,
oh, this chord is dominant seventh, or
Yeah, we don't really talk about a lot of music. It's probably because we, how it is.
Musically quite different now.
Yeah, it's a little different, and it's because that's what we all do. So, you
Sure.
know, when you're home, everybody's like, okay, let's not make that the center of discussion.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
but yeah,
Absolutely.
so
So now you got branded with that trumpet chick. Tell us about
yes.
how that came about, and
So that came about pretty much when I was at the beginning of making a name for myself. People had a very hard time remembering Arnetta. It was like no matter where, people just had a very hard time remembering that my name was Arnetta,
I
or they
probably
would
say
say
it
my
really badly, with my accent as well. As
no,
you're
you
putting
say it
it.
great.
Okay.
You say it great, but some people just wouldn't remember my name at all. So they'll be like, "Oh, that's the girl on
Is that trumpet?
trumpet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the trumpet girl, the trumpet girl." So I was like, I might as well just make trumpet chick,
Yeah.
that trumpet chick, and that's how I came along. Very simple. Yeah, that's the story behind it. But and now it's like if you go on Instagram and if people forget my name, you can literally just type in that
A
trumpet
trumpet.
chick.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. You really got it. And with if you hear a trumpet, it's me for the
Yes.
title of the album as well. I think that's great too. Inspired.
Yes. That came along uh while I was on tour with Beyonce. We would, be traveling out to different countries, and I started putting on Facebook the different cities that we were in. And the crazy thing is I would practice all the time in the hotel rooms. Um and I would always get a noise complaint. People they would call and they'd be like, "Man, we're getting calls that they hear a buzzing sound coming from your room." And I'm like, it's my mouthpiece. I'm like, okay, I'll
You
try to
should.
quiet it down. And then I practice a little more. Every city, country we went to, I was getting noise complaints. So I started putting up posts like, "Paris, if you hear a trumpet, it's me."
Okay.
And
Oh,
then
fantastic.
after doing that from every city, I was like, that would actually be a really dope
Yeah.
album title. If you hear a trumpet, it's me. So that's how
Yeah,
that came about.
yeah, fantastic. I was just
Hmm.
thinking that I think Stephen's joined the webinar tonight, but maybe you need to have Denis Wick practice mute. So,
I actually have one. I have a couple of them. Right.
just,
Where are they at? They're somewhere around here.
yeah,
But yeah, I definitely had. If you ask me, I think Denis Wick had the best practice mute. And that's an honest
that's good.
opinion.
Yeah, of course.
That's an honest opinion. It's the black one. It's in my room.
Oh
It's
yeah,
somewhere in
don't
here.
worry. You don't have to find it. It's
But
fine.
it's I love it because when I play, it doesn't have any pushback.
Yeah.
So that's the great. I also use it to practice with my mouthpiece. To be honest, like if I do need to be quiet, I'll put my mouthpiece inside
Oh
the
right.
practice mute. It works. It
Okay.
like yeah, it works a little bit.
Like
So
buzzing with the mute on the
hmm
end.
yep,
Okay,
it
that's
actually
great.
works. It sounds crazy, but it works.
Fantastic. Just before we move up to yours to set up, so in terms of your education, as relatively young, I said, you are younger than me, but you're still a mature adult. But as a young sort of female black artist, how has that actually been for you? Has it been harder to get the opportunities for education?
There have definitely been some hurdles in the road, especially like with things like college prep. Like in high school, we didn't start college prep until maybe our senior year in high school, last year in high school, whereas though most schools, their program, right when you walk in, they're,
Mhm.
suggesting different colleges. When you're in 10th grade, you start learning how to fill out the applications. When you're in
Yeah, sure.
11th grade,
Yeah.
when you're in your junior year, you start, actually applying. Whereas though at my school, it was just like, first of all, college wasn't even a thought. It was just like we're just trying to get through high school,
Sure.
like, and so it was just a matter of just trying to make it through. So that in itself uh was a hurdle. And then when it came time for going to the schools, it was definitely a lot of culture shock,
Hmm.
um because given that where I was going to places like New York and Ohio for auditions, things at jazz schools, to perform Black American music. It was just fascinating how I would be like, man, I'm the only Black person here, so that was weird.
Yeah.
being like the only Black person and then the only female at times too. So it's like, wow. So I really had to adjust in that way. Um, and then yeah, so it's like things like that, like constantly having to prove myself and then having a weight on my shoulders to say I have to do good because I represent, Black people all around. Because that's just, the
Yeah.
unfortunate truth of it. One wrong move and unfortunately people will
No
hold it
pressure.
against you. Yeah, so but it's like things like that. So it was stressful, but you overcome it, you see it through, and you jump over that hurdle. And while I was doing that was going about making my voice heard. I was really adamant on making my voice heard, not as a African American female trumpet player,
Yeah,
because that
absolutely.
was a thing. I was like, this is the time to show them, hey, I'm here, we
Exactly.
exist.
Because
So
if you don't see people like you in that situation, it doesn't show you that
it
it's possible, perhaps.
it doesn't, yeah, it shows, right. It doesn't show that it's possible. So that's why I was always want to go back home to show the students coming up next that hey, it's possible. You
Yeah.
might have everything working against you, but look here,
Yeah.
I made it through. I have other
Yeah.
friends that made it through, and it's definitely possible. And uh, it was just, yeah, even though with the stress behind it, it just shows that the importance of being inclusive, being
Yeah.
diverse.
Yeah. I
So
think actually probably possible is the wrong word to use. Just that um, that there is that space, that you should be able to do it,
mhm.
because it hasn't been accessible enough. Really, that's the thing. Rather than saying
Right.
it hasn't. It, yeah, it hasn't seemed possible. Perhaps
Mhm.
it's got to be made that you can.
Yeah,
That it feels like
it's
you've got those opportunities, that people are going to make those opportunities accessible.
right. So it's definitely been like I've had situations in college where some students would say, "Oh, the Black kids are getting all the scholarships just because they're Black," and I'm like, no. So having to fight through things like that
Yeah.
is absolutely ridiculous. But we're still here, playing the music,
Yeah, playing awesome
So
music. Yes.
yes.
Okay, so well, let's do a bit of talk about your setup. Okay,
Mhm.
so you've got a few trumpets. You've got a very small one, a pocket trumpet.
Oh yeah, where's my little
Um,
keyboard?
is that your favorite one for doing different types of music, different things? It's really cute.
No, so this to be honest, this was my teacher's pocket trumpet, but I saw that it was sitting, so I asked him, could I just take it with me, and I've had it ever since.
Okay.
But pocket trumpet, I record with it sometimes if I just want a different sound between this horn and my regular trumpet. They have two different timbres, so. But really, I have this because when I'm out and about, uh, I don't like to leave my horn in the car
Sure.
because people
Put in your
they be
bag.
out here stealing. So
Yeah. Fair enough.
so I'm like, oh man. So I'll take my pocket trumpet just in case I feel like I might end up at a jam session. So at least with this, if I do have to make a store run, I could just literally put it under my seat.
Fantastic.
Literally put it under my seat. So it's very convenient in that aspect. But that's pretty much what I use it for. I don't really play it on gigs necessarily. I only use it for like jams and stuff. But I usually play trumpet for everything overall.
Okay.
Pocket trumpet is just very convenient in like
Sure.
the midst of my travels, like
Yeah.
throughout the day. So
And so then your other trumpet, what make is that other trumpet?
oh,
Is there
so
one that?
this
Yeah.
trumpet, this is BAC, Best American Craftsman, Mike Corrigan down in Kansas. Uh, so they handmade this horn. It's custom. So
Yeah, I
on the
noticed about
inside,
it because on one of your videos, yeah, I
yeah,
saw that. It's really cool.
it says the word faith at the top,
Oh, yep, yep,
and
noted.
it has these little sun. Well, I call them sun rays because the name of my band is Sunny.
Yes.
So I said I want like little sun rays coming out my horn. Um, then they put like my name on it, yellow valve caps, and stuff. Now I got the word sunny. I don't know
Yeah,
if you can see it, but it's right
I
on
can
the
see.
side. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is the second horn of mine. The second or third? I can't remember. This is either the second or third horn that they made for me. Um, yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting another one soon as
Cool.
well. I want to get them to make me a pocket trumpet. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And what
so
about the
yeah, that's
mouthpiece? Do you what kind of mouthpiece do you use? Do you use the same on the pocket trumpet that you had?
Dennis Wick. Yes, I
Oh,
am a strict Dennis Wick mouthpiece player all day. You know, I rep Dennis Wick. I am a Dennis Wick artist. Yes. And this is all I only play my 3E. My
3E.
3E
Okay, yeah.
mouthpiece. It's very weird. So how this came about during Beyonce rehearsals. I would be playing like between the parts I was playing everything. Like sometimes I would be in the midsection low. Other times I would go for the higher notes. And then I was just like, I wonder what it would be like to play, because my favorite mouthpiece, believe it or not, I know it's odd to say, my favorite mouthpiece was what was it? A 1C. So that's huge. But then I went on to play a 2. But then I was just like, you know what? I was like, I wonder what a 2E would feel like. So I reached out about a 2E. They didn't have any in stock at the moment, so they sent a 3E. And I actually liked it. I actually liked it. I said, this is cool. And that's what I've been playing on ever since for the past 2 years.
Cool. And do you
Past 2
think
years
that
been playing
you're
on
set
this.
with that now, or do brass musicians sort of always sort of feel like then they're looking for a change at some point? Because
I
you
never,
get the same
yeah.
resistance, perhaps.
Uh, it's definitely slightly different. I was never the one that was too into, like gear in terms of like mouthpieces and things. When it came time to just play, I was the person that just be like, get the mouthpiece. If you like it, practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like literally me just getting this was just to get it, just to try it out. It wasn't to enhance any, a sound or a higher note.
Yeah.
No, I
No.
just got on it and I'm just like, all right, I need to be able to play everything with this mouthpiece. And this is all I play. This is all I play right here. This 3E Dennis Wick mouthpiece. Been doing me good. I love it. I love it. I'm probably not going to change.
No.
Yeah, I don't see myself ever changing from this unless I get bored again and just want to try something else.
Fair enough. Okay, great. Well then, so other things with your setup beyond the trumpet then, because obviously you do a lot of recording and arranging. I mean, I feel like
Yes.
you're not just a musician, you're an artist, you're with your own album as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of different focus. So, when you're writing and you're programming tracks, what's your equipment there? Software, hardware, all that kind of stuff.
So when I'm recording at home, I literally just use Logic. That's my main DAW that I use. I love Logic in terms of horn recordings. Um, just because I know all the shortcuts. That's to be honest. I'm the person, I have to know every single shortcut on an application. So yeah, when I started working in Logic, it just worked out, and that's what I use. In terms of microphone, very simple. I use a SM57. Nothing crazy. Literally, I use a SM57, and for my interface, I use a Focusrite. Yeah, so that's my setup. I have a Mac computer, little Mac little laptop, Logic, my Focusrite interface, and a SM57 for a microphone. That's what I use, and it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been doing
Yeah.
me well.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. You get something that works for you, then why change? Why change it? It
Mhm.
works.
Yeah, it
But do you?
works.
But when do you work with a producer? For the album tracks, did you go into a studio to do that
Oh
then,
yeah,
or
yeah.
just
For the album, we were doing a bunch of everything. Like we were in studios for certain songs. Other songs I was recording in the closet just because I was like, oh man, I need to get this down real quick. Yes, we were pretty much all over it. I had a producer on that album that I went to college with, and he produced most of the songs on there, named Brett White. I also had Derek Dixie, who is in my opinion, one of the greatest to do it. He produced on my album as well. So, but yeah, we were definitely in the studio, and as I said, from the studio to sometimes recording in the closet. Just you just had to get it done. Had to
Yeah.
get it done. So
So might you choose a different producer for different kind of music or different kind of sounds, perhaps, or
yeah,
you know?
yeah, producer is it's all about the feel of the song,
Yeah.
And I know like when I write my songs, I always make a blueprint. Like I'm not the person that's like, oh, can you send me beats and this, that, and the other. Very, very rare. Very rarely does that happen. I think I did that with one song on my album. But the rest of them I create the beat first and
Okay.
then I send it to the producer and I'm like, hey, can you spice this up? Make it sound like a hit. So
So the first track that we heard, was that something sort of similar then, that you've got the beat there and then you just sort of, it's the doodling from that
yeah, the first thing you
is.
just heard, that was actually a Slum Village track called Too Much. It's just a track I like to vibe over. But the next track I'm gonna play, hopefully the delay doesn't throw it off too much. But that's a song that I literally made and I sent it to my producer and said, hey, can you add a nice sounding kick and a
Yeah.
good sounding bass? Just the sounds that don't sound cheesy like the ones I had.
Sure.
So
And
so that's pretty much, yeah, that's what I do. So
is there a bit of backwards and forwards with that? I mean,
oh yeah, all the
if they send
time.
something back and you were like, oh, I'm not sure. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm always too worried about offending people.
Oh
So I'm like,
no. At the
do you ever feel
this
like,
is I look at it as this is the time to be the most honest.
yeah,
At the end of the day, this is it's my song. So you
yeah,
get what you ask for.
yeah,
You
you're
gotta
paying for it essentially.
communicate. Right,
Definitely.
right. So it's like if I send something, they send their thing back. I listen and I'll be like, actually, I like the bass. Can you make it a little rounder? Can you make it a little darker? Can you make the keys a little more dream sounding?
Yeah.
Can you make the song brighter? Stuff like that. And I've had times where producers heard my songs and they added sections that turned out great. So it's like, yeah, so it
Yeah.
also, yeah, I personally give my producers I let them work freely.
Mhm.
I'm not too strict. Um, I literally tell them, here's what I made. I need you to make it sound good. Literally. That's their job. That's
Well,
their
yeah.
job.
Well, it sounds good. As I said at the start, I've really enjoyed listening to your album on Spotify.
Thank
It's been
you.
great, and I've enjoyed watching the videos too, which we'll come to a little bit later as well. Right, some other questions. So, when and how did you start playing music from memory and ear, sort of improvising? And if you've got any sort of improvising tips, so
Transcribe. Yeah, when it comes to improvising, you have to transcribe. That's literally how I started off. And then you have to apply everything that you're learning. Application is key. Like, so when I was younger, I'll say 3 weeks into playing trumpet, I had my first gig. I know that's kind of crazy, but that's definitely how it happened. They had us learning songs by ear. Um, Although my mother was a music teacher, and I did have her class, as I said, I wasn't paying attention because I wasn't a musician at the time. I did struggle with reading, so I was literally learning everything by ear
yeah,
when I had first started. So that helps, learning
definitely.
things by ear instead of always reading. Um, Again, transcribe. So that goes right into learning things by ear as well, learning by ear, transcribing, and then apply. Like I was thrown on stage to play those songs that we had learned by ear, and then they were like, solo, literally. And I was just like, what? I didn't know what to do. Like so and I learned one scale at the time, the B flat blues scale. So I would be I'll play for y'all the stuff I would be playing. So Literally, we would be in our after school rehearsal playing the blues scale.
Yep.
That's all I knew at the time. So when it came time to solo, they feel like I'll be on stage playing like, all right, it's your time solo. I'm like, solo? I'm like, I don't know. So I'll be up there. Literally, right there, the whole solo, just what? Open and one, open and one, open and one.
Oh,
So
but
you
what
know
a
you
great
gotta,
Jesus. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta apply the thing. My thing was all I know is this B flat blues scale. That's all I'm going to play. Literally, that was all I said. I'm going to use it, and that's how I started. And then from there, just started transcribing solos more and more, and
Sure.
playing what I learned. And I'm like, okay, now I know a couple solos. So I was a kid. If we played a song where I knew the solo, I would play that exact solo on stage. Yeah. So another thing I did to help with improvisation was I would create solos for songs we had in jazz band. Like if I had a solo, I would make a solo for when I had to go up and play that same solo every single time. Um, and the goal was to perfect it, to play it perfectly. And then to enhance it, like, okay, now I'm gonna try this on the same solo. So that's literally how I started. Very humble beginnings.
But that experience of putting you in deep water, sort of
Mm-hmm.
musically, um, it must really help. So, because we need to talk about the Super Bowl, because that was a bit of a deep
Right.
water situation as well.
Oh, that was a complete deep water situation. Because with the Super Bowl, that was my first big gig like that. In that
Huge.
area, like in the industry, in the industry. It's like I had played on stages before because I had toured with Terry Lynn Carrington. So I was, we traveled the world, played on stages in front of large crowds. Was very nervous, not only because of the crowd, but because I was playing with Terry Lynn Carrington, who is in my head the best ever. So that was nerve wracking. But then to go from Terry Lynn Carrington, which is like, oh God, this is amazing. And then to go to Beyonce, it's like, oh, this is crazy
Yeah,
too. So,
must have
and
been
then
crazy.
the Super Bowl, I remember somebody had asked right before we went out to perform, they said, are you nervous? And I was like, I'm nervous, but not in the aspect that you think. Like, I'm just nervous just as a performer. I'm not nervous about the performance, like I was like, I don't know what to expect. Like literally before the Super Bowl, I've never been in a football stadium before. Literally that it was a lot of first time. That's my first time on a stage like that. That was my first time with an artist like Beyonce. That was my first time stepping foot into a football stadium. That was my
Yeah.
first time ever seeing a crowd that large. So it was just a whole bunch of first times. It was just like, I don't know what to expect. So it was a good type of nervous. We had fun.
And afterwards, I mean, you must have been buzzing for a long time after that.
It, yeah, yeah. So the crazy thing about it is, I didn't tell any of my friends where I went.
Really? Gosh.
They just knew that I was traveling, and
Okay.
for school, it was my last year at Berkeley, and I missed the first month of school, I believe. I think. Yeah, I was in that school for a long time due to rehearsals and stuff.
Because of the rehearsals for the Super Bowl, or because of the
Uh-huh.
tour? Yeah,
Yeah,
Christmas.
rehearsals for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah. So they was just like, where are you at? And I was just like, I'm in LA. That's all they knew. And then when the Super Bowl happened, nobody knew what was going on still. And then I came across the screen. And then all my friends went crazy and they started blowing up my phone and stuff and texting. They were like, you didn't tell us you were out there about to perform in the Super
So why didn't
Bowl.
you why didn't you tell them?
Just keeping things, it's the Super Bowl. You don't want to be all over the place like,
yeah, sure. Then they'll be
hey
like, oh, can you
guys,
get me
I'm about to
tickets?
be on
Yeah,
right. I'm about to be on stage with Beyonce. You want to keep things disclosed,
yeah, sure.
to keep the surprise alive,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so then after that, then you got a call from Beyonce to go and you've toured with her twice. Is that right?
Only once.
Oh,
Only
once.
once. I only did OTR too.
Okay.
I did not do Formation, but we did her title performances, and we did the Country Music Awards with the Dixie Chicks. That was super fun. That actually goes. That might be like my favorite gig. That was a good
Oh yeah, I was going to
time.
say what your
Country Music
favorite gig was.
Awards.
Yeah,
That
country.
yeah. That was a very fun gig.
So what
But
was it
yeah.
like? So touring the world. I mean, what do you learn from an artist like Beyonce? How did that has that changed you musically?
Absolutely. It definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things. Like you got to work hard,
Yeah, she
but
works
not
very hard.
only work hard, but have a team that works hard as well. Like having a team is very important. Your circle is what keeps the rotation going. One dent in the circle, you're not rolling anywhere.
Yeah,
So it's yeah, definitely have a strong team around you so that, for those days where you get a little, like you might get a little shaky or go to the left a little bit, they're there to push you right back into the center.
yeah.
Or, they're there to also help you continue to expand,
I was going to say,
and
did
pitch
you
out
get?
different ideas and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Did she give you any advice about your career and moving forward musically?
not directly, but of course, again, like with working with somebody as such, you're literally watching greatness
Yeah,
all
you're in the
around,
presence.
not up from the whole production, the whole team. Like again, a person that we work with, the music director Derek Dixie. I mean, all the time that he works very hard. He's the music director.
Sure.
He's the one that brings the sound, gets the sound together, gets the band
Yeah.
going. So, and to watch somebody just work so hard and be so great is always mind blowing. It's just like how, yeah, it always baffles me like how great he is at what he does.
Yeah.
Very musically gifted, very smart as well.
So could you
Yeah,
envisage
so
yourself doing something similar that, if, in the future, would that be, could you imagine yourself in those big situations?
oh,
Would
absolutely.
you want the dancers?
Absolutely. I'm the person. I'm like, give me it all. Like I would love to, have the stage that I envision.
So the
Um,
dream gig is it big or is it intimate? Intimate, you know, is it a big
I
stage?
would say both because even my intimate dreams are pretty huge.
Fair enough.
Like yeah, it's like of course, even if it's like on a small scale of like I just want to, have a smaller band and play for this type crowd, like a 500,000
Yeah.
crowd venue. That's still in my head. It sounds simple when I say it, but in my head, it's like it's still a lot going on. But
Yeah, sure.
it's going to come with. But I want this kind of stage and this kind of wardrobe. I want my horn to look like this and that and the other. I need the lights doing this
Yeah.
but I mean, in terms of dreaming big, of course, I can't wait to hit the stage and to have what I do get a creative team to just have them
I've no doubt
go.
you will. You
I
absolutely
just want
will.
them to go far and beyond with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Because you've got your circle, I suppose, with Sunny. With
Yeah. So yeah, with Sunny, with the band, yeah, that's just that. Sunny is my sound, pretty much. It's the same with Nettlebop. That's just another variation of my sound. So,
Yeah, in fact, why don't
but
we listen to a track from the album and then we can talk a bit about Netabop and that.
oh, okay.
Would that be cool?
Do you want to listen to the track, or do you want me to play one?
Um,
We could listen to one. We could listen to a snippet.
I don't mind. You choose.
Okay, I'll play.
Yeah.
I'll play this track. Yes, yes, yes. Where are we at?
Awesome. Thank you. It was so nice to hear you play again. I think it's nice to have
Yeah,
that,
thank
doing
you.
it live. Yeah, and doing it from you in your bed, you are in your bedroom. So,
Yes.
it's great to be able to share that from,
Mm-hmm.
from so far. So thank you so much. Great.
Yeah.
So
Thank
anyone
you.
who's you can hear and see on YouTube and also Spotify as well. So I'd urge everybody to look at the album because it's been I've really enjoyed listening to it. So you're living back at home at the moment. With the COVID situation, how are you working now? And are you working now in new and different ways? You know.
So with the COVID situation, given that the music industry is pretty much still down over here, we're still making it happen. Like,
Yeah, sure.
as you see, I can still play from home in my bedroom, but in some instances, like tomorrow, I have to pre-record a show with my band, and it'll just be the band, no crowd. So we had to perform. That's how we have to do this performance. So performing like that has been different. It's almost like doing a video, a music video.
Yeah.
But so yeah, of course we have to adjust to situations like that. I actually got to do a drive-in show with AJR, a group of three brothers from New York.
Okay.
We had a drive-in show not too long ago, and it was great. So
how did that work?
So we were on a regular giant stage,
Okay.
Outside, huge parking lot where the cars came in as if they were a crowd.
Okay.
And people just sat on their cars and watched the show.
Oh, in the summer, that must be lovely. Yeah, nice weather.
Cool. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was definitely a really cool experience. It was cool too because you could like see the individual people, rather though, when people are like this big in the audience, it's kind of hard to spot them out, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But we definitely have to adjust in times like this. Given, of course, as I said, the industry is pretty much still down. The financial impact has been a little wild. So, a lot of musicians had to step their game up and, learn how to record at home.
Yeah, and doing things with Zoom as well.
Yeah, learn how to teach private lessons.
Definitely.
And, so fortunately, thank God, I'm in this horn section with my friend Kevin Woods. We are in a horn section called Bop Horns. So we've been recording prior to this for a long time. So once, the shutdown happened, we just smoothly transitioned right into recording. And
everyone else is scrambling around and you know what you're doing.
Yeah, we're just like, well, time to pull out the microphones and the video chats and record remotely. So, we learn how to record with each other through Zoom.
That's incredible. You've done some other things with Zoom, you like intermission music as well. Is that right?
Yes. So I've had times where people have hired me to perform, in the middle of meetings. They'll just say, we want to have you perform for 5 minutes. I've had other times where people want to do like a virtual jukebox.
Okay.
Where they, they select the artist and then you perform a song or two or three. So that's been cool. I've had people that reached out to just use my music as an intro to their Zoom meetings and things like that. So it's been pretty good. I've actually had some very cool endeavors throughout this time. We just have to be creative. I always tell people we are creatives. This is the time for us to experiment and to just, again, create different avenues. So a lot of doors have opened up for me during this pandemic. I'm grateful because, it's still a struggle for a lot of people. And we're all just pushing through, so.
Yeah. Oh, we should just mention, so Netabop, that was mentioned earlier then. So what's that?
So like Sunny, like when you hear my band called Arnetta Johnson and Sunny that's what you hear when I have my live band. It's just my sound. Netabop is also just another variation of my sound. Netabop is what you get when I'm having fun. Like if somebody reaches out for me to put a horn arrangement on their track and they say, hey, we want you to be a feature, I'll say I add a Netabop to it. Because, whenever I put stuff on music, I give it a little bop, give it a little sauce. So also there are songs where I do rap a little bit. I'm not a rapper.
Interesting.
I'm not a rapper, but it's still fun to do. Definitely nowhere near the best at it by a long shot. But yeah, that's also like, that's my other little name, Netabop, if I'm rapping on something.
That's great. I think one of your finest attributes is that you're not afraid to challenge yourself and to try new things, and explore your creativity. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It's definitely weird to do, given that, like you said, it is challenging to do things that I'm not used to doing, putting myself in uncomfortable situations, but we have to continuously do that if we want to grow. So
yeah, absolutely, we do. I can acknowledge that, especially doing these as well.
Right. I just always tell myself, in whatever I do, just make sure I'm having fun with it.
Yes, definitely.
Make sure I'm having fun with it. That's very important. So
So we're kind of rounding up to our final few questions. If there's any more, then feel free to ask them now. But who would you say are your musical influences now? You know, as in the music that you're writing and in the videos that you're creating, because they're very, you know, well composed. And
Yeah.
so the videos were almost intrinsic part of the music that you're writing as well.
Yes.
My favorite,
Yes.
I mentioned, it was the I'm Just Saying. It just,
Yes.
I just
I'm just
love it.
saying.
It's brilliant.
So what I'm just saying, I just really wanted to be innovative. That song, when you listen to it, there are no words, but on the music video, there are lyrics. There
Yeah.
are lyrics to the song, and I like that because, you know, trumpet is my voice.
Yes.
I'm not a singer.
I'm going to make sure
um,
that I share that later on, maybe on our social
yes.
media pages, because if anyone hasn't seen it, because it's so wonderful. It's my favorite.
Thank you. Yeah. So I figured, you know, just because I write a song that doesn't where I don't have the vocals on the record, where I just want trumpet to be the voice on the record,
Sure.
that doesn't mean there aren't vocals. So I put out a music video. That doesn't mean there aren't lyrics. So that's when I put out a music video that had the lyrics there, so people could see, you know, what I'm thinking when I
Yeah,
play.
absolutely.
So
Do you know, I must confess, I've always been really bad at listening to the lyrics of songs. So to me, it doesn't matter somehow, like, you know,
mhm
about the words of, you know, it's about the melodies
mhm
and things. So well, I mean, you know,
yeah
but do you know what I mean? Like, it's that's why I understand what you're saying about you know,
yeah.
the
So
trumpet is your voice.
that was cool. But yeah, I love making music videos. Of course, in terms of musical influences, I'm a huge Missy Elliott fan. Um, I'm a huge E fan, Lil Kim fan. But uh, in terms of like instrumentalists, of course, like if I take it back, like Lee Morgan, Miles Davis all day because
Yeah.
he cool guy.
Actually, do you know what? When I was listening to your album, and then I went on to, so it was an Arnetta Johnson radio, you know, on Spotify, how it
Uh-huh.
kind of does that thing. Anyway, so you were playing, and then Miles Davis, and I was like, it didn't jar. It was just, it flowed beautifully from you to Miles Davis. I thought you've got you know, same.
Yeah. So it was
Yay.
yeah, Miles Davis, that's my guy. So you know, people like him, of course, you know, people from now, like Sean Jones, Darren Barrett, uh huge kudos to Christian Scott, you know, still killing the game, you know, making keeping a tradition alive in the music as
Yeah,
well. People like Nicholas Payton that you know, constantly reminds us that, you know, there's more to music than music.
yeah,
You know, like always have a message. And, you know, because Black American music is built on the story. You know,
yeah, definitely.
so
Oh,
it's.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, so as far as just like musical influences, of course, Tia Fuller, Jill Scott. I mean, the list goes on. Terry Carey. A
yeah,
lot
sure.
of people have influenced me outside of music. I gotta say, what keeps my drive going? It's like people like Serena Williams. You know, like that have that hard work just
Yeah,
like that really pushes me to take my playing to the next level all the time. So but
fantastic.
yeah, so I'm influenced by a lot of, you know, a lot of different things that
Oh,
keep
and
me going.
also
So
you're such a talented musician that you're inspiring people now as well. And I read that lovely quote about you saying that if you have music in your life, it's a gift that you've got a duty sort of to share it. And so, you know, while we talked about the inspiration of music motivators in your life, you know, what do you want to do with that spirit of, you know, you're inspiring people now? You know, what do you want to do? You want to teach people? Or, you know, how do you want to inspire people?
I feel like I'm already doing what I should be, you know, doing in terms of that aspect. Like
Yeah,
I'm staying true to myself. I know that I don't know everything, so I feel like that helps everybody. But you know,
you,
I do mentor, you know, like I don't walk around being like I'm a mentor and I have mentees. No, like I'll, you know, I always, you know, give advice if somebody asks.
yeah,
I always receive advice. You know, I put respect first.
sure.
Um, and you know, I'm just constantly showing people like is, you know, although we play music, you know, we're all, you know, we're people
Yeah,
first. So
definitely. You've been very vocal about
You know, like
justice for
once,
Breonna Taylor, the African American who was killed by the
yes.
police earlier this year, and so for too long, white people like me haven't really sort of truly understood how difficult it has been.
So yeah, it's like things like that are like, yeah, they're absolutely horrifying.
Yeah,
Especially, to black people, because that's like our reality. Like I had put up a post. I had said, how many of you have ever had the cops come to your house before? And then they say, oops, it's the wrong house. Happened to me multiple times.
yeah,
Even though, in the Breonna Taylor case is that case is a lot going on with that right now. But, in terms of like police brutality and other social injustices, it's an unfortunate reality that black people have to go through all the time. So seeing a situation like Breonna Taylor's case, it's crazy to me. And she was my age. That's
yeah,
crazy. It's like,
yeah,
yo, like her life is just taken away, just boom, just
yeah.
like that. So yeah, stuff like that definitely has an impact. So
Sure, definitely. I mean, it is a huge area. It's so big. But for
mhm.
musicians especially, what can we do to ensure that Black and other minority ethnicities get the opportunity to flourish as they deserve? What can we do?
Uh, literally just be inclusive. Like if you see that your whole board and circle is all like white people, there's a problem. It's
Yeah,
literally like that is literally as simple as I could put it. Is that simple? Because in order to have a broader perspective, you have to have different minds.
yeah,
So, you can't be, if everything you see is the same around you, there's an issue, is as simple as that. But I tell people I'm not into symbolism. I'm into like direct change, like actually things that could be uh like it's saying, like as you all saw, I wear my Justice Breonna Taylor shirts. I wear my Black Lives Matter shirts. That's great. That's cool. But along with that, we have to make sure that we are actually doing things to call about
mm,
a chance, like calling out when things or statements are racist, and getting people out the way that might be doing things that are completely wrong, attacking issues head on, telling people, hey, you need to add some diversity to your board, to your team, to your workplace. You need to create this type of environment because the one you have now is
it's not.
very,
Yeah,
very not comfortable. So it's like
yeah,
making actual changes directly. I always hear people saying, oh, we need to change this, and it's always this huge broadened thing that has to do with something miles away. I'm like, nope, start right at
yeah,
home in your building. That change right there matters just as well.
yeah.
So that's how it's gonna start. The t-shirts and all, that's great, but actual change, like in workplaces and within ourselves
And
personally,
yeah, and
that's
at home as well.
bigger
We've
impact.
had
Yes.
we've had lots of conversations at home with my two children, um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but just to make sure that they understand, and
Yes, because
it'll
it's
keep this
it's
going forward, definitely.
very important. Very
Yeah.
important. Yes. So
Okay. Right. Well, we'll go to my last question, and this
okay.
tends to be the last one. If you finally had one last piece of music to listen to, any piece, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
If I had one last song to listen to, oh man, one last piece of music to listen to. Wow.
Or maybe I'll give you a top three favorites.
That's even harder.
Yeah.
I could give you artists though. I
Uh-huh.
can give you artists. I don't know about songs, but I could give you artists. It would definitely be uh Nina Simone would definitely be in that category. Um, who else would I have in that category? Uh, I'm a huge Jill Scott fan, so I gotta say Jill Scott just to keep the vibes right. Um, and lastly, who would it be? Lastly, uh,
You can bring back somebody who's dead.
Miles.
Yeah.
Now, Miles Davis has a song that he performed called "Riot" that I really like.
Jam along with them.
So yeah, but that's a hard question.
Sorry
It's
about
because I
that.
listen to so much music.
Yeah. Quite diverse music.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely Nina Simone gonna be on that list every single time. That I do know. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Awesome. Right. Well, I'm going to start wrapping up now. Been talking for an hour. Gosh. So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your story with us tonight. It's been really interesting and
Absolutely.
educational, and it's been a great way to start. The new term September. I had a little bit of break in August, and it's good to feel refreshed and challenged for September. Feel really inspired. Thank you, and I can't wait to see and hear what you do next. I'm sure
Yes.
weather is in this kind of COVID situation for a little while. It'll be great, or when we get out to normal, it'll be great too. You managed to excel in
Yeah,
every
that's the
situation.
goal. That's the goal.
Absolutely. So to everyone that's watched tonight, whoever, wherever, thank you. Your support really does mean that we can continue to hold these webinar events. So if you've enjoyed tonight, please tell me, write a comment, like or share the video with a recommendation on Facebook. Even if you're watching it sort of like on catch up as well, that's great. So you can actually catch up with all my previous interviews on the John Packer YouTube page, as well as our Facebook page. I've spoken to Yamaha artists Tilda Lloyd and Rob Burton, Denis Wick, who was great, buffet artist Andrew Mariner, Christopher Bill, and Snake Davis. October's event will be all about flutes. So Pearl artist and Wells Cathedral tutor Liz Walker will be joining me on Wednesday, October the 14th to talk flutes and much more. So keep an eye out for all the details, and please do continue to share information about our events if you see anything posted about them, just so we can reach more and more people. You will be able to rewatch tonight's event straight away on Facebook, and I will be editing it for YouTube, and it'll be up there in the next sort of day or two. And I would just like to give a final personal thank you once more to Stephen Wick, Denis Wick. Without your musical matchmaking, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to speak to Arnetta tonight. And I do hope for the opportunities to speak to more great artists from your little black book soon. So hope you all keep well, and you'll join me again next month. Do keep visiting the John Packer site for all the latest music products, Denis Wick products, and back to school essentials. We've got some great new stock in for the start of term, and we've also got some wonderful COVID secure gems in secondhand. Or if you just want some advice about reeds or mouthpieces, our friendly and expert team are just a phone call away. And that's it. Keep music alive, people. Thanks again, Annetta.
Thank
Good
you
night,
for having
everybody.
me.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye.